Hi all, it's Kylie from Kylie's Card Craft. Thanks for joining me again today. It's Christmas. Well, it's getting close to Christmas. I love Christmas. I love all the bits about Christmas, everything. So when I finally get into Christmas, I get into it really well. So I started playing this week, started on my first Christmas journal, which is kind of a cross between a journal and a December daily. It's for, these are the ones that I sell, so it will be once I finish with it. So what it is for, for December when you've got lists to write for the presents that you want to get people, where you've seen them, catalogue bits tucked in, receipts, things like that. So it's got lots of bits and pieces, bits to write, recipes if you found any recipes you want to try for Christmas. It's got lots of pockets, things like that. So, as I said, I love Christmas and all things Christmas. Playing around the other day, and this will go in another Christmas journal. It's slightly too large for that one because it's more a handbag journal. This is just one that I plan to put in a journal, so it'll be stuck in. But with very little jigging, you can make it into a Christmas card as well. And what it is, if we slide this bit out, it lifts up, it lifts down. You've got a pocket here. You've got writing space there or journal space, whatever you want it for, or if you want to have it as a card, you've got that. And then you've got another tag at the top. It's very easy to do. Even this bit's really easy to do. So I thought we'd make one of these ones today. This just folds straight in. This one's a little bit tight because I've used, I don't know if you can see that, I've used embossed scrapbooking paper. So it's got this glaze on it, but it makes it a heavyweight cardstock. So it's a little bit heavier to do all of this sort of thing. So I'm going to use one that's not embossed today. I have also drawn up a template. So if you're interested in making it, I'll just leave that sitting there for a while, screenshot that or whatever else you want to do. There's the template for it. So the whole thing comes out of one, that's an A4 sheet or just slightly smaller. You've got, it's 3 7/8. You could make it 4 inches. For some strange reason, mine became 3 7/8. 3 7/8 wide, 4.5 score down this line, and then 5.5. And then for your little piece that sits in here, this little one that makes your pocket at the top and your journaling spot, it's 2.5 inches wide, 2.5 inches down, score, and then 4.5 inches. And then with just some scrap paper, make a little pocket down here and cover each of these. It is really very simple. So have we all been able to screenshot that, copy that? Thought it might be easier if it was all written down for you. Right, I'll show it at the end as well. So here's our pieces, and I've literally, this is just, it's a very lightweight cardstock in a craft colour, and it's slightly curled. But for things like this, it still works a treat because I'm covering it. It'll straighten it out. So here's our base piece. Here's our folded piece, which sits in here like so. This one goes down. This one goes over. Now, when I did my original one, with this, what I used, move that, was a handmade paper. Love this. It is very sturdy. I'm not going to use this because not everybody has paper like this, and it's a really thick, heavyweight paper. So because of that, when I've cut that, it's nice and sturdy. I'm just going to use normal paper or paper pad. I'm going through all my Christmas paper pads, so I've pulled this one out. We're going to do it in this one. I like the paper pads because everything's in amongst it. If you've got digitals from a kit, they will work just as well. If you've got 12 by 12 papers, they will all work as well. But because they're more paperweight, I've cut a little extra piece that I'm going to use behind when I do this piece to give it an extra thickening just in here when I cut this slot. So I'll show you what I mean when we go to do it. Right, first things first. We'll start doing our coverings, cutting those and placing them up. So it's just a matter of looking at what you want. As you can see, this is a very well used paper pad, and it's probably by looking at that, it's a couple of different paper pads in there. I love this sort of thing. So see this? See how it's got that silver across it? Something like that on the front will look wonderful. Now, that's my front piece. So if I use that as my front piece, for my inside, because I want this and this, I'm probably going to need a couple of sheets of. So if we look through, I don't want to use those embossed ones because they make it a little bit too hard. I could go nice and shiny. Oh, that's nice. Don't have 2 sheets of it though, but it might work down the bottom. So let's have a look. Got that one. I like that. That's nice. And let's go, and because paper pads have all these bits and pieces, you've got all your other bits. So 2 of those. Slide you back. See, and that's going to use up all those spare bits in there, isn't it? Not. Right. So I want this one for my front piece. I'm going to fold it out so I can see where I'm going. And I want to leave a little bit of a border. So with my pencil, which probably needs sharpening, I'm just taking it down. I'll go that way so you can see better. There's my fold line. If I sit that on so I've got a little bit of a border on each side, I'm going to mark it about there, and I'm going to mark it about there. I have put a pencil mark there. You can't see them very well, but I have put a pencil mark. So I'll just bring my trimmer over. Try and find where that mark is. There it is. Making sure that's nice and straight. Trim that bit off and trim my top section off. And that gives us that piece. So hopefully now that will fit in there with a little bit of a border. Yep, beautiful. This is the one that I want to cut my slice into. My back I'm leaving plain because it'll be adhered into a journal. So I'm going to just cut all my pieces first and then work out what I want. So same with this piece. So just up here, just down there. Trimming that one off as well. That looks a bit better. Nice and straight. Nice and straight. So that's now that one. And I want something down here. I can either have the same one, so I'm thinking I'm going to go the same for this one, and then use that one as my pocket. So if I sit this in here like so, again leaving a small border there and there, putting it in, trimming it off at that mark. So that way I never have to measure I measure my initial piece to get all this out, but all of these I tend not to measure because I always just give them a small border and I can just trim them at those spots. That one's going to go in here. That one's going to go in there. So those ones technically can be stuck down now. We're not going to ink today. We're just going to put it all on. So I'm just using my, I'm not inking, I just said, didn't I? See, I want to ink. I'm going to grab the glue stick instead. So, just on a piece of scrap, going all the way down. I'm just using my Bostik blue glue because then I can see when I've got it all on there. And I want that, grungied edge up the top because I'm going to lose it down the bottom because the pocket is there. So just so that I've got an even space there, there and there, and that should then fit that. And of course, because I'm using the glue stick, it means that I can give it a little bit of wiggle room. Put that one down there. So once again, we'll glue this one very quickly. It is a very quick and easy card or journal, tag, pocket, whatever you want to call it. I don't know yet what I'm going to call it, so we'll work out something for that before I write it up for a description. Make sure I've got those edges. And it's just really working out your bits of paper to embellish it. So that's going to go on there like so. Not quite straight, but, it'll be fine. Give it a good push because I had a bit of glue sticking out. Right, so that's my inside. So you can see where that was curling already. It's becoming straight. So that works out a treat. Right, I've got that one on here, which is going to go in there. I don't want to stick that one on yet. Quick, we'll pull him off. We'll pull him off, we'll pull him off, we'll pull him off. Look at that. I want to stick that one on so that I can cut him. Right. This one's going to sit in here. See? Right, that one's going to sit about there, which means it's going to come down to about there. So I'm just going to put a pencil mark where this bit's going to come down to. Okay? And then this is going to sit on here, which is going to be round about there. All I've done is sat that on where it's going to sit against that pencil mark. I don't know if you can see that pencil mark. There is a pencil mark there. Sitting that on there. I can work out where that pencil mark is. And then I'm going to stick that in the centre of this piece where that pencil mark is. Just gives it a little bit more extra oomph inside. Right. Right, that's that one. So if we sit that on here again, that's going to go that way. So if I sit it on there like that, I can measure that up to where that pencil mark is. Drop it just a little bit lower. Right, now we're cooking with gas. Give that a push. And we want to use the glue stick on that because we want to make sure that the whole thing is stuck. Because when we adhere this on there now, we've got this extra piece going in. So now we'll stick the whole thing down, and I'm going to grab another piece of scrappy paper to do that. Right. Going all the way around and on that piece. Make sure I get all the way around it first, and then I'll just go over the top like so. As I said before, I love Christmas. I don't cook. I love buying all the Christmas goodies that are out there. I'm great for the supermarkets. But, all right. But I just love the colours of Christmas and the music and everybody's good feeling. It is a good feeling at Christmas, regardless. And, you know, even last year, that horrendous year last year, it was still a good Christmas. So, or for me, it was. Right. That's on there nice and sturdy. So now we'll work out where this guy's going to go. We're going to stick him up just a little bit further. Round about in the centre. And down. We need this to come up just a little bit so that it's got room to tuck in. So what I'm going to do, making sure that's straightish, is put a very fine line where that finishes. I don't know if you can see that. So I've just put a very fine line where that finishes. And I just want to make sure that I'm even. I need to move over a little bit. Like so. Can't even see that. Don't know if your eyes are any better than mine. What do we got? Not quite 3/4. Went over too far. Would be easier if I'd stuck this guy down first. Just under. I set that there. Make sure he's straight. So if I use my grid like I should in the first place, all right, that should have it nice and straight. All right, yep, close to. All right, and I make a mark there, and a mark there so I can see where it all finishes. And now I want to cut in here. So craft knife is the best. Let's have a look. And I want to go over and past those lines. This is where my little piece comes to, so I'm going to go up from there, and I can feel where I've got that other piece. Find my knife. So I've gone up about, I don't know, what would that have been? Bit over 1/8 of an inch up. You don't want it to tuck in too far because it will tend to want to rip it. And it gets too hard to put in and out and all the rest. So I've gone up just a little bit. There's my line for where it starts. I'm going to take it over about 1/16 of an inch. Over to this side and over again. Don't go too heavy-handed. You're far better off when you're using a knife to do lots of shallower cuts than a really heavy-handed cut. Because if you slip, apart from the fact that you'll lose a finger, you'll ruin your paper. And let's face it, that's probably worse. Because we all hoard this beautiful paper and we don't want to use it. So if you just keep doing shallower cuts, you'll still work your way through without actually trying to do one heavy-handed cut. So now I've just moved up a little bit. I start my knife in the same spot, ending my knife in the same spot, and I'll give it 2 or 3 cuts. Let's have a look and see what we've got. Yep, see how it's gone through? Without going too heavy-handed to start with. Now you can either put your ruler back down and take out those bits, or you can just sit there and battle on like I do and just put your tip in there, because what we're doing is we're just making sure we can take out that section. So doing the same on the other side. Turning him over so that you can get that nice sharp point. Haven't quite gone through there. I can do that freehand now because there's enough of a gap in there that will allow my knife just to run through like that. Okay, don't forget to rub out your pencil lines wherever you've got them. Right. So now, when this one goes in, you'll go in like that. Nice and easy. Now we can put this one on. Okay, so now when this one goes on, it covers up that hole that you've got there. So now we'll go back and put this one on. All right, so we're going to just glue this one back up as well. Let's face it, we got it off quick enough that it didn't ruin it anyway. So now we can just re-glue that straight back on, making sure we go all the way to our edges. And again, I wanted that nice grunged spot up the top. So I'll work my way from the top, going down, flattening it out. All right. Well, let me have a look. And what I've done is it should have just been this, not the cardstock. Shouldn't it? We're going to pull that one off again. Might have to recut that. Oh, I'm doing really well today. Doing really well. We're going to just do this because there's always a way around these things. Always a way around. That's because I started this the other day. That's going to stick down there. That's what I wanted. See, these things happen. And we'll just double-sided tape that one. There's always a way around it. You've just got to look at what you've done and rework a way around it. See, always a way. Nobody's perfect. Life would be boring if we were all perfect. All right, that will give that space to go in, and that will then show. So when you're doing it, I am here to show you what not to do. When you're doing it, cut this piece, but not once you've stuck it to this piece. So cut it prior to sticking it on. So you can tell I did this card start of the week and went, oh, cool, because that was my starting Christmas point, and then went off on my merry way and started the Christmas journal. So, you know, and then set this aside with the bits and pieces, and that was as far as I went. And it's now, what, 5 days later, 6 days later, and I'm just waving goodbye to everybody. Oh, okay. It's everybody leaving the house. Right. So this is going to just stick in here. And that's what we want to see on the front. You with me now? So just wipe all that other area, and that's what you want to see. So we're going to cut this piece, this shiny piece. Once that's cut, then you'll adhere it onto this piece. And once again, we'll go with this very dodgy piece now. And he will be stuck down like so, and it covers that piece I've just cut in there. So we'll ink him for the 3rd time, because that's what it's all about. Not ink him. See, I've got ink on the brain. I love glue sticks because it allows me to pull them off and put them back on, and pull them off and put them back on. If I'd used double-sided tape for the first time, I would have been chucking this away now and starting afresh. Let's face it, it is only paper. Grows on trees. But I've already cut it, so... Right. Once again, for the 3rd time, just because I wanted to show you all how easy this was to make. Yeah, right. It is. I'm not lying. It's easy. Look at that. Look at that. See? Spot on. You wouldn't know we'd done anything. I'll get rid of this one now. This one's going to go in here, and I want to cover this side, and this side of that one. That's going to sit just there like that, up like that, down like that. Beautiful. Right. So, I want to cover this, and then I want to put something special on the front of that. So, nah, don't like those now. There was those blue dots, wasn't there? Did we pull those out? Let's have a look. Those. Let's have a look. I reckon that might be nice in there. That all ties it all in, doesn't it? So, let's have a look. And no, we won't get it out of that. I'll do 2 strips. We might do that up there. That'll work nicely. That'll work nicely. Trimming that off. That's not very straight. Something's a bit wonky there. And I want 2 of those now, but I want this side for that one. So I'm just going to line that up with the other one so that they are both exactly the same size. I'm hoping I'm in shot. Right. And this is how I end up with so much scrap. This one's going to sit in here. Get rid of that pencil mark. See, and this is why I usually ink, because inking gets rid of the pencil marks. That one, oh, it might. By the time I give that the double gap, that might actually work, mightn't it? Let's have a look. I say I can't remember. Chopping that one off there. We daren't use scissors today because the way I'm going, I had to come out as a circle. Alright, that one's in there. Stick it down before I get confused again. So that's because I'm all excited. I've got friends coming around tomorrow. We haven't been able to have anybody in our house for ages because of, you know, COVID. And we're finally allowed to have people around. And so I've got friends coming around tomorrow, and we're all coming around for a craft day. And I'm just so excited. All right. There's that one. Bit crooked, but... And what did I do with the other one? Because is he now going to fit? Yeah, look at that. So you don't need to cut 2. This is just a normal 6.5 by 6.5 inch paper pad. And that's fitted on there beautifully. I'll glue that one on. So for all those that watch all the way through, they'll realise what we've done and how we've changed it. For those of you that only watch the first 5 minutes and off you go, Please don't watch first 5 minutes because it'll muck you right up. Truly. Right. None of that is straight today, Kylie. Absolutely none of it. Oh, doing so well. Oh, yes, I like that finish in there. That all comes up really nicely. Yep, I like that. So now I just need a special piece to go on the front. So, what do we want on the front? Let's go back to that book and find something special. Do we want to add a little bit of red? Because let's face it, at the moment it's not that Christmassy. It will be by the time we've added our embellishments and bits and bobs and stuff like that. Even that. See, that will work, won't it? That will look rather nice. And it's almost exactly the right size. We'll just trim that one off. If only we can find the pencil mark. There it is. What way do I want to go? That way, I think. Yep. All right. Finding the glue sheets again. All right. Moving that aside. And what way were we going? That way. Just that way. Sticking that down. At least let's have that one straight. Yes. Awesome. Got to have something straight. Okay. This one goes in here. There. There. That will fit under that. If I go over a little bit. That's about even there and there, isn't it? And to about there. So I'm going to just put a pencil dot there and a pencil dot there. Now, what I'm going to do with those dots, and I've got two very tiny dots, when I stick that on, you'll still see them because they were just off and I won't be able to rub them out. So I'm going to, here we go, get my ruler where my pencil dots are and just drop it down a little bit and take it in a little bit. So now I've got a line there. I can rub out my dots because they're just above that line. So now I know when I want to stick this in, I can stick it in just above where that line is, and I know that I'm then straight. Because to stick it in, I want to make it into a pocket. So we're just going to make this whole thing now into a pocket. So we'll go down. Bottom edge. So I can't even do my glue straight. Promise I haven't been drinking. Oh my Lord. Right, up here. Lid on that one. I can hang on to the top. So I'm going to go just above that pencil line. Keeping that straight. Just before I move it anywhere else, I just double check that I'm under that. Yep, beautiful. I'm just going to give that a good push because I want that glue to dry as my pocket. Right. So, really, see, it is coming ahead. Now what we want to do is make a pocket down here. See, that will tie all that in, won't it? So we'll just trim that to the same size as that one, making a mark on there. Back onto here. Now for me that pocket is too deep, so I'm going to just trim a little bit off as well. So I've ended up, you know, not quite 2 inches, about 1 7/8 of an inch. Because for little things like this, I find pockets that size work better for me. They're easier to get into and all the rest. I'm going to put a finger hole in that one. Oh, and I've got an oval. I quite like this oval at the moment. And again, I'll just find the centre mark for that one. So if I use my grid, I'll pick this line as my centre line and taking it so that I've got one and not quite another one there. This one is my centre mark. I've just got a little pencil line on there. I'll put my oval in, even it up a bit, and it gives me that instead of the full the circle ones. And that one's going to go down there. Find that glue again to make a pocket. Almost straight, look at that. That's getting better. Right, I think my problem was I was rushing too much to start with, because I was determined it was going to be a quick video. All right. So we've got all our elements together. It's now just a matter of decorating. We've got this, we've got this. This will take a little bit to fold and all the rest because it is now 3 layers. That'll sit in there like that. Okay. So it's a matter of decorating, putting on, doing whatever. For me now, because with my other one, I put this on. Okay, so now technically I can decorate this and I can still put something going on down here. And that's where we go back to our paper pads or our embellishments or bits and pieces. Since I'm trying to use this paper pad, let's go and have a look in here. This is just an old Kaisercraft one and it's called Just Believe. But, you know, like, so something like that on the front will look awesome. I like the fact that they have these tabs too, and that matches that beautifully. So I'm going to do that on the top of my tag. And let's have a look. What else do they have? See, and that's what I used on this one. Used some of these, and I've done some stamping and all the rest. But see, if I wanted to use that, see how it's got all these colours in it, but it disappears. I know I said I wasn't going to do any inking, but watch. If I just very lightly, and this is with my walnut stain, just very quickly go around that. Now I've still got those colours, but now do you see how it lifts it up? And you can actually see it on there. So I'm going to do, I'm going out myself. Sorry. Very quickly, go around that one. Like so. I like that on the top. My tag down here can be any of these sorts of bits and bobs. And I'm thinking a little bit of that. Did we have any of that pre-cut in all our bits and pieces? Yes, but it's too small. But that's the sort of thing that I want. I think that would look very nice in there. Do I have any more of it? Let's have a look quickly, Kylie. No, 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 and no. But I don't want to use the same ones. Well, technically, yes, we could use this one, couldn't we? All right, but it'll need a little bit of a trim down. Because overall this is 2.5, but we've now got glue in there. So we want around about 2 inches to start with. And then we can start to see if we need to trim down further. No, 2 inches will be fine. And I want it, let's have a look. Let's just pull you off and pull you off, undo you. So I want this tag, it's going to finish round about here somewhere. I want this tag around about that depth. Or do I like those really grungy bits? No, that's fine. I'll just trim that off somewhere around there, which has worked out to be 4.5 inches. Yep, that fits in there nicely. Right, what I want to do with this tag is just give it a little bit of something. I tried, we went a certain way through, no inking, but it's out now. Right, because we've pulled these out, when I've got the scissors sitting here, they've got a few little burrs, I suppose would be the best word for them, on them where they've popped out of the paper pad, and you don't want those hanging out. Now you can get punches like this, dies and all the rest. So again, I want to just give it a little bit so that it highlights on that tag. And this one will be the back. So I like to use the 2 of them because what it will then do is, watch, I'm going to use a little bit of double-sided tape for my first side, right on the edge. Peel that one off. Sitting this on my grid again, I know it was around 2 inches. Finding my centre point. See how I'm sliding it down? A little bit of double-sided tape floating out of there. That's better. Right. Going down so it's centred and adhering it so that that bit sits flush with that. Now on my other side, it looks like that. That's fine. But what I like to do, stick that to that one, so that I end up with that. Now for this side, I can just use my normal glue. I just find for me, it's easier with the double-sided tape on that other section. But that's just personal choice. You can use glue on the whole thing. You can use tape on the whole thing. If you're using it as a die, if you've got the die and you're cutting it out or punching it out, you could use your jack paper, your double-sided adhesive paper, jack paper, or I don't know, whatever it's called elsewhere, and have that adhered to your cardstock that you're punching out or die cutting out, and then they'll just automatically be stickers anyway. Right, so I'm doing this with my tweezers because then I can manipulate it so that they match up. And then it's just a matter of swizzling it a little bit. Double checking the other side. Yep, giving that a push. And then I've got my double-sided tag. So that one's just going to go straight down there. It's a single-sided cardstock, so you've got writing on the other side. That'll sit in here. That's not straight. There we go. So what we've got now is that. We've got a little pocket down here. This one is light enough to write on as it is, or if you like, as I did with my other one, I put a little bit of coffee dyed paper and I stamped on it. So what we want to do now is actually decorate. So let's have a look at what we've got in here. So we've got all these bits as well. Let's pull out one of those, because with these sorts of things, you don't necessarily have to have them as a square. See, that's a really nice label. I'm going to actually stick that onto there before I forget about that. And then I know where he is. But what I'm thinking of doing is doing a cluster on the bottom, like with the other one. Right. Try and pick that up. Straightening it. Like so. And I'm going to tuck him in now so that I can see where it actually goes to. Right. That does give a little bit once you've used it a little bit. So just give it some workings just to bend the fibres a little bit on your paper. Right, so that still fits in there nicely. I've got a fairly even gap, top and bottom. Down here, don't know whether I want that one now. I'm thinking, because I like this label and I could stamp something on that. I do like, may peace be your gift at Christmas and your blessings all year through. It is Christmas in the heart that puts Christmas in the air. I think that's too high. Let's very quickly cut out this one. And I want it in that shape that it's got around it. So we'll just very quickly fussy cut out this one. So you can see I haven't thought ahead of what I want to put on it, because otherwise I would have had this fussy cut out prior. So we'll just quickly go around this one. It does have the blue on the edge. Whether that blue will stand up enough on that embossed paper, I'm not quite certain. But once we've cut it out, we can have a look and see if it needs just a little bit of brown edging on it, just so that it pops a little bit more. One more section. Right, so let's just, I like that, but whether it's going to be, I do like that section, but we'll cut it first with the banner as well. I'll just chop that bit out. And what we'll do to start with is this banner. Because I'm thinking I'd like to stamp something on that label. Not necessarily Christmas. I could put the 25 on it again for that date. I could love, I've got love up there. Don't know, I don't want too much extra wording because I've already got quite a bit of wording on there. Oh, I had family. Family might be nice. Don't think I've got tradition in a stamp. But I do have it in some words somewhere. Sorry, I'm just muttering to myself and thinking while I cut. I like fussy cutting because it does allow me time to stop and cut. Like that banner, but now I'm just making sure I get that same edge going on that one. I don't mind that. Again, I need, maybe we just put the 25 on there like I did on the other one, and that was, but I needed 25 because that one's an actual stamp, because I've got them all still sitting here. That's an actual stamp with that 25 on there. Quite like that, but maybe I could just do some numbers. So let's have a look. What have I got still sitting out? They're too little. Hang on a moment. Alphas. Let's have a look at some other numbers. Right. Just pull that out. They might fit. Oh, if I can get them out. So, 5 will fit over there. The 20, well, the 2 will fit in there. So they might fit, actually. Where were we? About there? I have to tuck him out a little bit further. My other numbers are a little bit larger again. So 5 and 2. Yes, that will fit in there. They're larger, and yeah, all my others are larger. So let's go that way. Move that to the side. Got such a mess. And I want stamping mat, colour. Do we want to go this colour? That's too bright. The green's not going to work because I've only got that in there. Do we go a brown? I like this, but I don't have, I've got lots of colours, but I don't have that one. Let's have a look, let's have a look. No, it's nowhere near. I see it's really green there if you put it against that one, isn't it? Raisin. What's raisin going to look like, do you reckon? Hang on a moment. That might work. That might work. Let's find some scrap first. And a little one. I'll just do that 5 first. Let's have a look at the raisin and then we can... Mind you, I just thought... this is on white and not cream, so it's going to look slightly different. That's not a bad colour match, is it? Let's do that. All right. That's going to go in there. That's going to sit down there. We'll do the 5. 5 first. 2 first. Pull that 2 out. What did I do with the 2? What did I do with the stamps? Found them. They're right there. Sit them over there with those. Let's have a look and see how these things fit. Clean that one off so it doesn't leave a mark. Yeah, that 5's going to have to fit right into there, isn't it? Right, very lightly just tap on that because they're a, I wouldn't like to say inferior, but they're an old dodgy set of numbers that do squish a lot if you push down too hard. We just want light. We want to make sure that we've covered the whole thing. Yep. I've had them for years. I don't know what brand they are or anything else. but they will really squish. Yeah, you get dodgy clear stamps and then you get really good clear stamps. So let's have a look. I've got some others sitting around. All right. I've got, I don't know where it is. I had it out a while ago. Hang on a moment. Twiddle your thumbs for a sec. Just twiddle your thumbs. Twiddle your thumbs. What do I do with it? There. All right. So here's another clear stamp. But even if I take that off, you can see that it's nice and firm. It's going to allow for a bit of stamping. You can give it more pressure and it's not going to go blah as they do. And it's the best noise for it. They just go blah. So watch when you're using your clear stamps. Always look at what they are. Give them a little bit of a finger test. If they push right down, you know only to ink them up very lightly. Tap over them. Most times, as I tell you all, put your stamp down and take your ink pad to it. But when they're really blah like this, just do it that way. You can see if you've got it on there. And then when you go to stamp them, don't push down too hard. Okay, so I'm just kind of moving that in the shape of the two so that I've got it like that. You've just got to watch all the time your stamps when you pick them up. No stamp will stamp the same. So, you know what I mean. So always just, if you want to, do what I do. Do a test patch first and go from that. Right. Stop waffling, Kylie. Start doing like that. How's that? All right. So this one can be stuck on first. I'd still like some more on this, but I'm running out of time. As per normal. All right. I'm out of shot, sorry. All right, so I'm going to stick this one on first. But what I'm actually going to do is hold on to that one for where I want him to be. And then I can just lift this up and set it down to where I now want this one. Like so. Okay. And then this one, we can now just stick down. I haven't got that down. That's got it. All right. I need to move up, don't I? You can't see me. Sorry. I'm getting closer and closer. I really need new glasses. And I'm bringing everything closer and closer and closer. All right. And I'm actually going to use my tweezers for that one. That might be a bit better. Right, so I want it just inside there, just inside there, just up there. Give that a push. Now, sorry, excuse me. Now, it would look lovely as well with a little bit of cheesecloth under it. Any of those sorts of things. There's so many beautiful ways you can embellish Christmas. But really, I've been an hour. There you go. But we did have quite a few muck-ups in the process, didn't we? So I'll just push that. Yeah, that one needs to be a little bit thinner, I think. It's all right. We'll push him down. I'll do that one up. So you can see how nice and easy it bends after a while. Okay. So there we go. Move that. Move that. Move that. Move all that. You can see those. Push that one down a bit further, Kylie. About there. I might have made that one a bit longer. That's those. I'll pull this one out again, like I said. There's your template. If you need to screenshot that again. Oh, yes, that's in shot. Beautiful. Okay. I don't have a name for them yet. I'll come up with one shortly. It probably won't be posted till tomorrow anyway, because as I said, I'm a day early. But I hope you've enjoyed them. As you can see, they'll go in your journals. You could give those as a card to either write on the inside or write on that side. They're a beautiful way. They don't take up much of your digitals or your paper packs or whatever else, and you're using just bits, so they're a great way of using up your stash as well. Hope you've enjoyed them. Thanks for watching. Till next time. Happy crafting. Bye.